of sprung. It's definitely getting into summer. I mean, it is Memorial Day weekend, right? It officially kicks off the summer. Years ago, about right where my finger's pointing at, back here in this area, have any of you ever seen Friday the 13th, the second one, the one where it really introduces Jason? You know, if you haven't, go check it out, because like towards the end of the movie where the survivor, where she goes back into obviously the wooded area and she finds this like a log cabin or this abandoned house in the middle of nowhere, like in all horror movies, that's, you know, in the woods. Well, these kids years ago built like this hut back here. Now it's not here anymore. I wish they would have kept it up, because it was so creepy looking. And the first thing that I thought of was Friday the 13th, you know, part 2, the first introduction of Jason Voorhees, you know, where he had the what do you call it, the potato sack over his head. To me, that was the cool ass. The hockey mask, of course, is the thumbnail of Jason. We all know that. And by all means, all respect to you fans out there for Jason Voorhees. I'm not dissing Jason. Jason, when it comes between Michael Myers and Jason, hands down in my book, Michael Myers. But I say Michael Jackson. But anyways, I wish this shed or whatever these kids built, like a clubhouse basically, I wish it was still up here, because it was so creepy looking. Years ago, we tried to, I mean, we're talking 10 years plus, they were going to have a big Halloween party, and we were going to play a practical joke. And let me check the battery real quick. Okay, should be fine. I was going to try to relive a practical joke that I did back in 1990. But that night back in 1990, in fact, it was September, wait a minute, let me do my math. It was November 1st, 1990. The reason why I remember this is because it was the day after Halloween. Make sure I don't look like a fool here. October or November, yes. Okay, here's what happened. You've got 5 people in a car. If I remember, it was like a Cutlass Supreme. Back in the day, those were pretty popular cars. It was, you know, it was a 2-door sedan. And they were supposedly going to go out, we're all young. I mean, 1990, I was 20 years old then. So anyways, 5 people in the car. You have 3 people in the back seat, 2 in the front. They're going down these back roads, and they're 20-year-olds. They're 19, 20-year-olds out having fun, goofing around. Well, they came across this individual that was just basically sitting on top of these railroad tracks in his car. His car died. They decided to go back to help this individual. I mean, come on. His car is basically over some railroad tracks. Well, they go back, they turn around, they basically park behind this guy, and naturally, you know, they get out. The 2 in the front seat, they get out, they go up to ask him, you know, if you need any help, obviously, you know, do you just need a push or whatever. The guy thinks, well, you know, whatever, he needed a jump or whatever. So they go back to the car to see if they could find any tools. Well, during the process of going back to the car, from their, I guess you could say, west of the car, on the other side of the road, in this fielded area, they start hearing this roaring sound. It was the sound of a chainsaw. Well, they couldn't quite figure out what it was, because it's late at night, it's dark, I mean, it's just pitch dark. They hear this sound getting closer and closer, and eventually someone yelling on the top of his lungs over this roaring chainsaw, basically to get the F out of there, blah blah blah. And the thing that's really creepy is, not only is it so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's not just a chainsaw, but the individual is like wearing a trench coat. He's got a mask. I mean, everything just covered. You cannot even recognize who this person is. Well, doesn't really give them a moment to really decide. He decides, not only is he threatening them to get out of there, just basically telling them to get out of there, he starts chasing them down. Now you would think, okay, they would just get back in the car. Well, no, they start running. He starts chasing them down with the chainsaw, screaming at them, running after them. You got 3 people in the back seat of this car screaming their heads off. Oh, and before this happens, as he approaches them, the guy who was having initial, auto troubles, car problems, he slashes his chainsaw right across the guy's chest. Of course, the guy falls to the ground, chases after the others. They eventually get away. They go back to the car. The guy who's driving, of course, is panicking, freaking out. Just like in any horror movie, he doesn't naturally start the car off and starts taking off right away. The guy with the chainsaw is getting closer and closer to them. Eventually, they take off, and that's it. Now, remind you, this is back in 1990, so the story may not be as fresh right now. But that was me. Wearing this trench coat, wearing this mask over my face, wearing these goggles, holding the chainsaw, scaring the hell out of these people. I rushed back, well, actually me and my friend that I slashed across his chest, we rushed back to Dayton. I was dropped off at the house before this was before cell phones or whatever were big, before most of us had cell phones. So there was no way of communicating like that back then. It was back in the good old days where we didn't text. But anyways, I get back to the house. They're explaining the story to me, what had just happened. And I'm trying my best to just, hold my composure. And I think I did a pretty damn good job. And to see the 2 that were actually, well, the joke was pulled on. The one was literally standing there shaking like they were freezing, The other one I could see where he peed himself. So, yeah, I was pretty proud of what I did, because I was told that they swore that they were going to get revenge, that they were going to get me back someday. And it never has happened. I mean, here it is, 2016. You do the math. So, why am I bringing this up now? I don't know why. There was just something about coming out here in the woods. I thought about, maybe that show would be out here. You know how it is. The mind wanders.